Peace and power. We are back. My apologies for being late. I am on a fast, and it is very challenging. When you get to like day 4, and so I am here. Hold on. I can hear. Okay. All right. So kill the feedback. Of course, we are bringing up next brother Jamal Butts. Welcome back, Mr. Butts.
Greetings and salutations, Miss Pitts. How are you this fine morning?
I am a little fuzzy, but it's okay. It's a eat day.
Fuzzy, fuzzy. Okay.
So I feel good energy, but I just feel like something's off. But it happens when you're fasting. So
Hmm.
I'm glad to be back. I was excited about getting into the next chapter. Maybe near the end we can go into like a little miniature review of what we've already learned. When you are reading something and you're trying to absorb what you're learning, it is good to go back and do like a mini review instead of reading straight through. It helps to absorb the information better. We are reading the Holy Grail of Orgasm. Shout out to the young lady that got her free copy of this book by contacting Mr. Butts with the key phrase forehead kiss. So that was something we spoke about in one of the previous chapters, and so we're gonna do like a little mini review. We wanted to do it, well, I wanted to do it separate from live, but I'm like, we might as well. We're on here anyway for a couple of hours, so we can just do like a mini review so that we can retain the information. When in teaching, they teach you that there's 13 learning types, over 13 learning types, and you want to address at least 4 when you're teaching students, because everybody doesn't learn orally. I am kinetic, oracle, have to hear it a couple of times, repetition, and you have to
Hmm.
really tune in and zoom in on your own learning type so that you can retain information better. I even listen to things in my sleep if I'm really trying. I'm studying for the series 7, but before that you have to take the SIE, and so some nights I'll
Hmm.
play the SIE test prep in my ears at bedtime, and so just a deeper dive and getting to know you. This book is very exciting. We are in the Holy Grail of Orgasm by Master Morris, and he is in Atlanta, Georgia. And the chapters we've already completed are chapter 1, the 4 body model, chapter 2, the potential of sexual orgasm, chapter 3, the design of orgasm, chapter 4, the house of the man and the house of the woman, chapter 5, the art and science of tantra, and then chapter 6. What chapter are we on? Oh, wait a minute.
We're,
We're
we're
on
gonna start
chapter.
7. We're gonna start 7 today.
Okay, and so chapter 6, the mechanics of energy projection, where we learned about how the young lady who was projecting her energy, but she felt like the young man was projecting his penile projection. Okay, and so
Hmm.
today we will be getting into chapter 7. I am gonna let Mr. Butts start so that I can change the title of the live to include the chapters. Are we doing 2
Hmm.
chapters today, Mr. Butts?
We're gonna attempt. It's about 22 pages. We're gonna attempt to do the 20. We're gonna attempt to do 2 chapters today.
Okay.
Um, so I'm gonna jump right in. Yeah, and yeah, sure. If we've got time to um do some sort of review, absolutely. Otherwise, um, we can schedule that later in the week too.
Okay.
But, yeah, let's try to get through if we can. I'm gonna start in um, chapter 7, semen retention, the unipolar to bipolar transition. Male sexual psychology is bipolar. The prostate is one pole, one center. The penis is the other pole. the other center. One is the inner, the other is the outer. The prostate represents one's core polarity. The penis represents the periphery polarity. Think of it as a nation with both a domestic agenda and a foreign agenda. The male has an internal sex psychology, prostate, and an external sex psychology, penis. In an evolved state, these act in conjunction. This dynamic is not very evident this dynamic is not very evident if one is only aware of the cell body. Only when we are aware of the full four-body model does this dynamic become evident. Most men today suffer from a condition I call heart disconnection. In the energy emotional body, their penis is disconnected from their heart. We are referring to the auric penis, not the physical penis. The disconnection is of the auric field and the meridians associated with the heart chakra. Maybe you're unfamiliar with the concept of the auric penis, and perhaps you have little concern for your meridians and the layers of the auric field. However, it will come as no surprise to most women that there is some sort of disconnect in most men between their basic penile psychology and their emotional center. Men today tend to have a difficult time bringing their full sexual function online. They are penis-centered and the prostate is not fully functional. To better understand what this means, imagine women who cannot have vaginal orgasms because they are clitoris-centered. They are focused on the peripheral sexual orgasms rather than the core ones. Some unnatural development has shifted their sexual logos from its core to the periphery. The clitoris is connected to the pudendal nerve structure in women, while the penis is connected to the same pudendal nerve structure in men. This is a secondary structure. The main or core nerve structures is connected to the prostate. An entire book could be written on why such a large segment of the population in modern times is displaced from their sexual core. The occurrence is so common today that most people outside the shaman community believe this is normal, but in fact, it is highly abnormal. Unless a person is aware of all four bodies, they will probably not notice this issue or comprehend the relevance of it. The opposite abnormal condition affects men who are only prostate-centered and have very little focus and connection to their penis. Some of these men are homosexual. Most of them simply believe they are homosexual. But if this condition is corrected, they will discover they are not homosexual at all. Some men crave prostate stimulation because penis stimulation lacks its normal relationship to their elemental masculine polarity. There's a problem with their genital reflex zone. Thus, they use anal penetration to make any connection to their male persona. This sounds backwards, I know, but think of it through and the light bulb should go off. When you have no concept of the four-body model, so many things about sex never register. But let's not digress too far. The vast majority of men are too penis-centered and only experience one-sided orgasm. When the penis-centered man is introduced to the other side of this orgasmic profile, the prosthetic side, he is shocked. When men seek to approach the full or total aspect of their sexual being, we speak of the male seed retention regimen. The goal of this regimen is twofold. First, it is to learn how to recirculate semen. Second, this act of recirculation wakes up his sleeping prostate into full activity. He shifts from a single pole sexual logos to a double pole sexual logos. In other words, he returns to his natal template, the mode in which he was always supposed to operate. The essence of semen retention. In the first step, the male simply reduces the number of times he ejaculates per month by half. In other words, a 50% reduction in ejaculations. This is not done by technique, but through sheer willpower, typically through cessation of masturbation. Then he cuts back to 25%. He builds up his willpower via qigong 3 times per week for 15 minutes. He may also meditate twice per week. Suggestions for meditation are listed in the appendix. In step 2, he works on his prostate gland. This requires a diet change. There is a section on this shift in this chapter. The man learns to be aroused and erect without the expectation of release. He needs a woman to help at this point. There is an addiction dynamic at play here, and he must fight it. The prostate work will make him desire to release even more. Certain herbs will help, which will also be discussed later. Step 3 is the turning point. As the man moves into the energy body portion, once a week he undergoes brainwave pattern induction. This means the slowing down of brainwave frequency patterns into the delta layer. The common means of doing this is with the use of binaural beats. They are machines that can also do this. A coach can recommend other ways. This will help the man control his sex drive, and he begins the Tantra table work. At this point, he will find it easier to control ejaculation. He gradually changes his brain dendrite patterns through a simple set of exercises. The female assistant seeks to make him ejaculate via penis massage. He resists. Start at the 10-minute mark and seek to add 10 minutes each week until he can hold for 30 minutes. This resistance is achieved using special breathing techniques. This is the difficult stage. The onset of bipolar male sex logos. During this step, the male attempts to have his prostate orgasm. The female must assist. The Tantra healing work continues. He requires 1 session to begin the activation of his light body. This is key. After this session, he should be able to feel his auric penis. There is a mantra to help with this. He should use his auric penis as much as possible. Under the right conditions, he will experience recirculation at this point. The final step is the formal activation of the prostate. Joe mean point using Tantra. One can also use acupuncture to activate that point. For 2 weeks, all efforts must be focused to hold on to this power. He must do Qigong and meditate every day, including a visualization of the prostate recirculation of vital force. Bring up his Kundalini and do the deer exercise. When he has sex at the end of this 2-week period, he should be able to last for an hour. Seed retention means achieving male orgasm without ejaculation. The male semen retention regimen gives a man the ability to retain semen during orgasm. He may ejaculate or he may recirculate. It becomes an option. The pleasure of orgasm occurs either way. However, if he elects recirculation, then some of the nerve spasms, pumping, ejaculation, and release of tension does not follow. The penis typically remains erect. Often, the man must look at himself to confirm that he is still erect, as normally after a climax event, he loses his erection. This retention allows him to prolong sex. There are a number of benefits to semen retention. Semen retention is not an absolute requirement in the quest to achieve high-level orgasms, but it certainly makes the goal much easier to reach. During the regimen, 2 distinct tasks are necessary. First, a change in the function of the energy body is necessary. The best way to describe this change is like adding a new operation. In fact, its purpose is to expand the operation of the auric penis. We might also say that we are activating or awakening a fuller function for the auric penis. This sounds complex, and the concept may seem difficult to comprehend, but don't worry. It is not nearly as hard to do as it is to understand. I have to explain it because I am writing a book. There are some sexual geeks who will comprehend the process the first time, but I know many of you jarheads will simply sit there scratching your crotch. You can just follow the instructions and keep it moving. You don't have to understand it at all, though you will want the benefit. No slur intended. I was also a jarhead like you. In this regimen, we will use Tantra to affect this change to the auric penis. The second task is to modify and strengthen the prostate. In young men, this can be a relatively simple task, but in older men, more steps and more time may be required. Remember, in the Grand Trine model, humans have 4 bodies, not one. The event of orgasm is part of the energy body domain, as are most sexual functions. The energy body governs the cell body. So when you make a change to the auric penis, the physical penis and the prostate will gradually fall into step with the new pattern. This is already programmed into your DNA. You don't need a program as the software is already there. You are simply taking a dormant program and making it active. Normally, the energy penis and the physical penis work in lockstep. Now the auric penis is engaged in orgasm, but the physical penis is not. The action is shifted to the prostate, the primary pole. Remember that the penis is the secondary pole, meaning that the orgasm ability of the prostate is greater. As far as the cell body penis knows, no orgasm has occurred. So now the auric penis has 2 orgasm options. However, as far as the physical penis knows, things are the same as they always were. When a man reaches this point, he is halfway to a high-level orgasm. What remains is for the brain to start the production of a special form of DMT. Wave the magic wand and you reach HLO. Well, there are actually a few more steps in there, but you get the general picture. The simple steps to recirculation. This is not a practice of blocking ejaculation. It involves the natural process of recirculating semen or delaying ejaculation and eventually changing the actual signal from the brain. From a holistic perspective, this represents a major shift in male sexual psychology. The change is gradual. I will admit that it took me a long time to do this, former jarhead. Of course, it is far superior to undergo this regimen under the supervision of a Tantra professional. The regimen will require the assistance of a female handler, which we will discuss more later. The clinical experiences of males undergoing the transition are almost completely absent. Observation of the regimen is also hampered by the unwillingness of men to talk about sexual experience openly and truthfully. Even so, there is a fair consensus among the instructors and female mentors who assist that after learning to retain their seed, men exhibit a much greater connection between the heart and the penis. At this time, I wish to mention a few notes about past experiences with the regimen. When we did the semen retention classes, about 30 to 40% of the men failed. Some of the 40% had partial success, and the majority of the 40% achieved success in the months after the class. Without a doubt, a lack of confidence with women was the main reason for failure. I encountered men who had only had sex with 2 or 3 women in their entire life. They chose safe women to avoid rejection. When the last relationship with the safe woman failed, most of his confidence walked out the door with her. If you do not believe you can do something, it is twice as hard to accomplish. When I was younger, the men I tended to hang around with, go to the gym with, and go to clubs with were what you might call players. My work friends and my spiritual friends tended to not be players. The players had more fun, certainly, and the main difference between the 2 male groups was the level of confidence. Even men who had issues like ED were able to master the seed retention regimen because they believed in themselves, whereas men who did not have sexual issues failed. The next great cause of failure was masturbation. Simply put, men are addicted and found it hard to stop. A certain level of discipline is required. Religion is perhaps the third major cause of failure. Some men experience extreme levels of guilt and shame around high sexual potency. They fear what manner of demagogue they might become if they awoke one morning with a magic penis. Such is life. In my opinion, men lose an excessive amount of life force and potency because they ejaculate too much semen. Even so, I do not support the practice of never ejaculating. I believe that occasional ejaculation is healthy and natural. The role of the prostate gland. There are many issues when it comes to the prostate that will be covered in detail in the testosterone section of this book. In terms of organics, the main issue with the prostate is having too much estrogen. This is the same situation that hampers testosterone activity. In males, the sterile estradiol, an estrogen-like steroid, invades the prostate and settles into the inner tissues. The estradiol estrogen then causes the prostate to change and produce an abundance of soft inner tissue. It swells. The prostate enlarges or seizes. This is BHP, benign prostatic hyperplasia, also known as semen hyperplasia. The prostate is converted into a miniature uterus. Perhaps 20 to 25% are walking around in this way. The semen changes to mimic the mucus of the endometrium in the female womb. This is female dominance and occurs from overexposure to the Yang Amazon female. It can also be brought on by racial or class oppression, such as people living in abject poverty in India or Black men in America. And it represents the loss of sovereignty and a sense of the lack of power. The physical condition manifests to reflect or mirror the energy condition. Remember, it is the energy body that controls the physical body. Men stop doing masculine stuff. BHP is a byproduct of feminism. Once the energy body becomes flawed, the cell body looks around for the foods and beverages needed to convert the prostate to a mini uterus. Men who are masculine can eat the same foods but not develop BHP. Most men do not have full-blown BHP, but instead lie somewhere in between. Behind every enlarged prostate gland is an Amazon woman. She is either crying out to destroy all men or crying out to be healed by men. Either way, she suffers. Very learned men will say that BHP is brought on by diet and a lack of exercise, but respectfully, they are wrong. If they were up to date on the 4-body model, they would immediately see the error in their thinking. Yang women who are absent in feminine energy are the cause of BHP. If men bring more of their masculine energy online, they will not succumb to being dominated. However, men pay a price for the destruction of indigenous culture and our devotion to the cage of technology and machines. Truly masculine men are out of style in this modern machine culture. There is nothing for them to do. You will not see a man swinging a sword on the battlefield. We have drones for that now. He will not be guiding a plow behind his mule on the farm, as tractors are more efficient. Therefore, I don't denounce women for BHP, even though they are the cause. I blame men as they design this society. Once a unipolar man is subjected to enough oppression, male bashing, and reduced access to sex, he crumbles energetically. His auric penis retreats. His energy body realigns to create an endocrine pattern consistent with a diminished male. He produces an excess of estradiol, and testosterone is locked. He now craves the foods that support a change in prostate structure. Some of the sources of estrogen in men are listed in order of damage. Microwave food in low-grade plastic containers, very bad. Poultry, pork, and beef, which are fed with growth hormones. Growth hormones are very similar to estrogen and easily convert to estradiol. He craves them. Produce sprayed with toxic herbicides. Plastic water bottles and beverage bottles that are made of low-grade, heat-soluble plastics with certain chemical binders. They emit small amounts of high-concentrate steroids, which are easily precursors to estradiol. Some soy products, such as tofu, encourage the production of estrogen. But this only hurts men who consume large quantities on a regular basis. Testosterone must be active in the prostate, and binding hormones and estradiol steroids must be absent from the chemistry of the prostate. In such a case, the male endocrine profile is mature and energetic, so the prostate can follow the nerve and spirit impulses. The prostate must be strong and with the proper structure if it is to follow the advanced programs of the energy body. Prostate solutions. The male prostate gland is very similar to the female uterus, womb, and is made of many of the same materials. However, their operation in sexual intercourse is the opposite. Most men have no knowledge of this. Down through the ages, it has been the sages, medicine men, masters, yogi, gurus, shaman, and the okumfos who have reserved these pleasures for themselves. Yet, even if the male is given the techniques, achieving the male orgasmic plateau is difficult unless his female companion has learned how to project her energy. Such females are relatively rare as compared to males who have the same ability to do it. It is also much harder for a male to achieve the right brain state of trance that is required, whereas this comes naturally to a female as soon as she sheds her Amazon facade. The therapy for the prostate includes some of the same things that help with testosterone mobility. The production of human growth hormone is the key to all things. It is behind all healing and all expression of masculine energy. Start with the intake of large amounts of omega-3, 6, and 9 oils. These supercharge the hormones. Get them from fish such as salmon, flaxseed, or primrose oils, raw, as well as numerous other natural sources. High-quality saw palmetto berries are excellent for restoring the prostate. They have been shown to reduce prostate enlargement better than anything, as long as cancer is not present. 160 milligrams twice per day is a safe and widely recommended dose. GABA is a male wonder supplement. Don't get into a sexual relationship without it. It has a slight sedative effect when first taken. Men report that this helps them cope with the changing moods of the female. It builds up sexual stamina, which may also help with improving your partner's mood. Vitamin C, acting in conjunction with vitamin D, D3, and the enzyme catalyst. The prostate and seed retention. In the male, the ejaculation reflex and the orgasm are two separate events. But most men ejaculate at the same time they have orgasm by habit. It is mainly because they never learned any different. The energy spike coming from the female triggers the male orgasm and ejaculation in most men. Other men have an involuntary orgasm in such a situation. The act of having an orgasm without having simultaneous ejaculation is called retaining the seed. It requires the prostate gland to be strengthened through specific exercises. The mind must also learn to impose itself on the nervous system. Once this is learned, the male then engages in a series of energy-building routines that includes Qigong. The man then learns how this energy leaks from his body through diet, negative emotions, and problems in the auric field. The work to strengthen the prostate must be done first. Then he needs one session to activate his light body. This is the key. The activation of the prostate and the conversion into a bipolar sexual dynamic are achieved through tantric table work, which will require 3 or 4 weeks. And that concludes chapter 7. Semen Retention.
Woo, 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 woo.
I read right through. We had
so
a lot of reference back to some of the things that we initially talked about in some of the earlier chapters. So I know we heard the phrase the 4 bodies several times in this chapter. So let me bring some people up to speed. In the tantric world and getting to achieving a high level orgasm requires that you not only become in touch, acknowledge that 4 bodies exist, but that you also become in touch with them and learn how to activate them simultaneously. And that's going to require some alchemization of all of them at the same time. The quantum field body, your etheric body, the light body, the energy body, and the cell body. As far as the semen retention protocol is concerned, bringing your energy body and your cell body and your light body are into alignment are paramount. And that's even after you get to the point of acknowledging that your prostate is a singular pole for sex and your penis is the secondary pole. Prostate is primary, penis, the shaft penis is the secondary pole. And yes, they can operate independently, but high-level orgasms are only going to be achieved when you activate both of them. And strengthening the resolve of the secondary one by doing less ejaculation is what Master Morris is recommending as we elevate to getting from a juvenile and an adult to a high-level orgasm. And there's been numerous studies out that talk about the average male masturbates in double digits. They say some on average, the average male is going to masturbate some 20 times a month. Average. So some less, some more. This can be damaging. This can be damaging in an effort to try to achieve high-level orgasm. So that's why the recommendation, you understand, if you're at 20 times a month, that has become a huge part of your life, and not just your physical life. There is probably a stress reliever for you. So you've got your emotions and your mentality also tied up in doing that. So these protocols that are being recommended as far as getting to being able to control and recirculate your semen are going to be paramount to getting there. And I know some people are saying, well, I don't know if I can deny myself my 20 times a month. Well, you're going to have to develop the discipline in order to get to the greater good. The bigger goal, if it's painful, well, then no pain, no gain, right, Ms. Pitts?
Right.
So we reduce it by half. If you're in that average of 20, you're going to cut back to 10 times a month, but you're also going to be doing some of the other things. I think but implementing some of the more reasonable things. The low-hanging fruit is what I like to call it. The low-hanging fruit. Even before you learn to alchemize your light body, your energy body, your cell body, and you tie your heart chakra to your auric penis. Before you get to that, there are some things that you can do from a diet standpoint, uh, and to help improve your health so that you're ready for that. And we said that again, and this is a great time to repeat it, that high level orgasms require you to be conditioned. You have to be fairly healthy to do it, because the cardiovascular strain of one thing that it takes, because of the time that it may take in order for you and your partner to to jointly get each of you to a point where you are sharing a high level orgasm. So, one of the last things we were on one of the last pages, we were talking about um, restricting microwave food in low grade plastic containers,
Mm-hmm.
um, trying to avoid poultry, pork, or beef, which are fed growth hormones. So you want to go with some more organically raised.
Halal.
Um,
Halal.
Say again.
You want to try to get your meats from halal sources,
Mm-hmm.
and so that they aren't under the extreme. Because even if you get in organic and the farm or processing meats processing is not animal friendly, animals still experience fear, and so you don't want your meat filled with those spikes of fear or whatever. So try
Mm-hmm.
to source halal meat sources. It's not always going to be convenient or close, or just farms. It's better to go to a farm. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they'll sell you a half a cow for like $300, but that'll last you the whole year. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's get back to sourcing everything that we eat from people, not corporations, because it's
Mm-hmm.
still an energy, even with the vegetables. If they're harvesting vegetables in bulk and just not acknowledging that plants are alive,
Mm-hmm.
then plants still hold that spike in energy. And you
Mm-hmm.
can look this up. Studies show that most plants that are harvested, they produce a protective chemical because they don't want to be eaten. And so it would be best to go to sources that harvest friendly. They acknowledge the plants are alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going in chopping stuff down, but they actually practice harvesting. When our ancestors harvested, they weren't out there just trying to get as many as they could. You
Mm-hmm.
would harvest what you needed at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so practice going to farms. Now they have farms where you can go pick your own strawberries. Talk to the
Mm-hmm.
strawberry, talk to your food, program them so that you're asking, can I have some? And take a bottle of water or something to give something back to the earth. All of our practices have been lost because of all the mixing and the media, all of it. And it's just like we lose practices like that. Before you harvest anything, you're supposed to give something back to the earth. Um, but just halal source. Now we know that organic is not really organic. These
Mm-hmm.
are sales tactics, and then also marketing ploys. The Whole Foods, all
Mm-hmm.
these people are in court for lying, and so
Mm-hmm.
best
Mm-hmm.
that you know where your food is coming from and try to grow some of your food. That's the best way to have the best of the best, because you're nurturing and pouring in. You're not just taking. And
Mm-hmm.
so with meats, just keep in mind, and then our ancestors smoked meats because it was tradition that when you smoke, you're releasing the energetic field from the animal. Whatever was felt before, death, you're releasing all that with the smoke. So just finding better ways to prepare the meats as well. Yeah, that's my little spiel.
And so the same recommendation as she was just saying, trying to grow as much as you can will get you to, or buying from someone that grows and does not use herbicides and pesticides or toxic
Mm-hmm.
herbicides and such. Again, these are just some of the recommendations to help fuel getting healthier as
Mm-hmm.
we work on that goal of semen retention. I already talked about the plastic bottles and not eating an abundance of tofu. And I know that's like a alternative protein source for people that are trying to eat less meat. For men, um,
There's a lot of
you
estrogen.
want to restrict it a bit,
Mhm.
so that you're not producing excess amounts of estrogen.
Right.
So that's the low hanging. Oh, and then some of the supplements that
The
some of the
GABA,
supplements that were recommended. Um,
the GABA, getting your blood work done so that you can
mhm,
see the vitamins and stuff you're deficient in. On my weight loss journey, I am a member of a weight loss group. And one of the first things we were taught is that hospitals, when you're going for your yearly checkup, all that, they're not checking your blood thoroughly. And so you have to go out to a separate source and they will run all of the blood tests that the hospitals or your doctors are not running. The doctor patient thing is a business. And so they're just really out there to keep you as a customer. So they're not
mhm,
trying to see if you're deficient in vitamin C or zinc. Zinc is a sexual, not just sexual, but a cellular and a sexual powerhouse supplement because it helps in um, the elasticity of the vaginal juices, and then also the sperm's mobility. And so you want to make sure you're not zinc deficient. And that's if you are into procreating, Um,
mhm,
you might not mind that your sperm's not swimming as fast if you're not trying to help a child. But these are things that your normal doctor visits, and this is not medical advice. Let me put this is not medical advice. This
no.
is for educational purposes only. But when you're going into your yearly checkups and stuff, tell them you want a full blood panel, not just the average things that they're trying to see what they can diagnose you with. They want to diagnose you
Mhm,
with disease and relate it to age or family when there's no science out there that proves that. And so you want to get a full blood panel, you're requesting, and if you don't know what that consists of, use Chat GPT. So you'll know to get tested for everything so you can see what you are deficient in. A lot of us are deficient in vitamin C. We're suffering with back pain on high. And it's simply high dose vitamin C will help that a lot. I've been on that for years. I've always had back pain because of my top heaviness. And so
mhm.
little stuff like that. But what stuck out to me was when he said that yang women are the cause of the BHP.
How did I know you were going to go there?
Because you know.
I was going to ask you what your take on this Amazon female
it's
input here.
it was gonna stick out. It's all relative. So when I was growing up, my height and size, I was always called an Amazonian woman. Not
Mhm,
having no clue what that would entail of. And so yes, we are out here. This is all your big, tall, fine women in the world.
mhm,
Usually they descend from that tribe. And
mhm.
so me personally, I got older and I started researching. It's like, okay, yeah. Now, with that being said, I can say most women don't intend to masculate men, to emasculate or demasculate, however you want to put it. That's not the
Emasculate.
goal.
Mhm.
Okay.
You said
The
it right. Emasculate.
goal is protection. And so when women don't feel safe, and we'll say it loud in front of mountaintops, we're not going to submit to anybody that we don't feel safe with. And so it's not so much of an intent, it's you providing a safe space for her to feel like she can be submissive and like she's protected. When you are the Amazonian woman, that means you're in protect mode. You're in mama bear mode, self protect mode, all of the modes and nodes of protection. You're a warrior. If nobody else will do it, you'll go out here and get it done. And so it takes a special type of brother to make women feel safe. And so let's start there. He didn't mention that, but I want to throw it out there. I speak with both men and women. A lot of women think I'm pro male because I love my brothers. It's not that. It's just I always try to get a deeper understanding of my brothers because I feel like this masculine versus feminine thing in the world is just all of
Mhm.
us lacking connection and really yearning and lusting for touch. The sexual part is just a bonus. It's the touch that we're lacking. With computers and all these apps and stuff, we're growing more further and further apart. And then
Mhm.
you're having outside opinions of random strangers, people who are not in relationships, successful relationships, giving you all these things, and you have the men that have experienced the low fruit, as Brother Butts would say.
Mhm.
They pick this low fruit, and then they want to lump all of the women into one category. Same thing with the women. You pick this low hanging fruit,
Mhm.
um, and then the results is not all men are the same. This is a farce. It's a lie. It's a
Mhm.
lie. And so I feel like we have lost connection. And I was
Mhm.
telling Brother Butts, I love when I meet someone and the goal is not sex, but just um vulnerability and acknowledgement that you just want to be touched. You just want to sit and touch
Mhm.
another person, whether it be a leg, a foot, a hand, just a connection that it surpasses the sexual attraction because we live in a world where you can get sex anywhere, but a connection is rare. And so we want to keep that up here at all times. We
Mhm.
all we're growing more and more lonely. I saw a meme yesterday
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
a man, and the
Mhm.
meme emphasized his right shoulder was stronger than the mug because of ejaculation,
Mhm.
and it
Masturbation. Mhm.
showed he had some high mileage oil and some lubrication on the table because he was just so alone. And it said,
Yeah.
what happens to a man when they refuse to give women their money? This is what the man was so
Mm.
funny. But the
Mm.
comments is what sends me every time. And it's
Mhm.
just like somebody did comment. It's like when you are giving to women, and this is a high vibration woman, we're not talking about all
Mhm.
women multiply. And so even the thought that you don't have to do nothing for women, it's a sickness. It's just like you would do it for your mom, your sisters, your whoever. And women multiply, and we do it in different ways. And so to make it just about those ends, the meme was just saying you just sending yourself into an early grave. You're alone. The man looked really bad. It looked like he had ejaculated his feet off. The feet were gone. Okay,
Oh wow.
it's just like it's like
Feet gone.
it's
Mm.
extreme, but it is the condition of
Mhm.
society today. So men are turning to their hand versus just being vulnerable and admitting that they do like women and want to be touched by women. And
Mm.
so
Mm.
isolation kills. This is men and women. I've learned that like it's not good to be isolated for too long. You lose touch with
Mhm.
reality. And so these are some things that we have to work on as a society because apps and stuff will have you thinking.
Mm-mm. Looks like we lost. Oh, she might be coming back on. Okay, there she goes. Now she's gone again. Hmm. Okay, as we are
They don't want y'all to hear
experiencing
this truth. They don't want y'all to hear this truth. I'm gonna get
a.
into chapter 8. We are going to go ahead and get into the. You were about to say something?
No, no, no. I was just going to reinforce what you were saying about there has grown a disconnect of some sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think to some degree, some of it is willful and intentional. It's been a divide and conquer amongst our people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's been going on for 50ish years or so.
Right.
And yeah, but again, I don't want to leave it there because I have to say that I am encouraged that there's a definitive possibility, likelihood of a return to a more nuclear type of a more natural type of relationship between males and females that will exist again the way that it was way back when. But I'll leave it there. But yeah, the last thing is it didn't mention it, but because it did mention trying to increase your HGH, your human growth hormone. I always want to point out to men that if you research fasting protocols, research fasting, both water fasting and dry fasting, can get you to a point where you can exponentially increase your human growth hormone. And I'm just going to say, do a little research on it. But if anybody wants to reach out to me, DM me and talk and to get a dialogue going or get some information, more information on fasting protocols, please feel free to do so, men. I can absolutely tell you how beneficial it is, not just for weight loss. Yes, absolutely, it is good for that, but also the production of HGH and to heal some things on a cellular level that you don't need pharmaceutical medicines to do. There are some other ways, and there are some fasting protocols. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Pitts as she begins chapter 8, which is titled Intermediate Steps to High Level Orgasm. Take it away.
Below are the suggested intermediate steps. These are optional. Many people will not do any of them. They may proceed directly to the main discussion of the transition to HLO via the 5-step program. Each person alone must determine if they should do all of the intermediate steps or some portion of them. Removal of a female womb imprint, learning to operate the genital reflex map of the opposite sex, Venus grip and yoni mapping, and removal of emotional landmines from the relationship landscape. Everyone is not playing on the same even field. Some of you live in paradise with manicured lawns, fat bank accounts, and easy relationships. Others live in a war zone, tiptoeing through relationship landmines, and still others have been exposed to the nightmares of life with drugs and illness and broken families. Some people had to fight harder to get to where they are today, and those women who finished puberty and had relatively good sexual experiences can pass go and collect $200.
Monopoly.
So
Okay.
funny. Okay, there are already in the adult phase. They are already in the adult phase and have had a few bouts of high level orgasm, a few months in the cocoon, and she is good to go. Now, a man who is less fortunate may have to spend a few weeks in the remedial section. No blame. He is in his 40s, having raised 3 kids with a demon baby mama. His ED makes his sex life hit or miss, and he counts it as a blessing if he can last a good 15 minutes in bed. Some days he is not sure if he likes women or not. His income is so low and his bills are stacked up so high that he has stopped trying to get free. He is just hanging on. In such a case, the man may have to do some remedial work first. This chapter is about such remedial work. If the intermediate steps listed above are enough, count yourself lucky. There are folks who are so deep in the pit that even this is not enough. Some of the most unfortunate souls have fallen into petrified sexual gnosis. Their beliefs, habits, self-sabotage, and pain body have them locked in a prison of their own making. Later in the book, there's a chapter just for them. We begin with the Intermediate steps, though you may not need to do all of these steps, maybe one mate does and the other does not. If you are in doubt, read on. Even if you feel you do not need remedial work, I would suggest that everyone read the semen retention discussion. It contains the main portion of the discussion of the bipolar sexual dynamic. Step number 2 is heavily dependent on this: changing the female's womb imprint. The first 3 times a young girl has sex, it is more significant than sexual events that occur later in life. There must be penetration. The first 3 males to enter her yoni through penetrative sex act to imprint her womb with the masculine persona. This imprint is left within her energy body, and some believe inside the physical womb as well. She records their energy on her consciousness in a special way. Now we're gonna pause for this. This is
Mhm.
so deep in the awakening the feminine, because many of the group participants, the book club participants, the first 3 were trash, including myself. Okay. And so when we go into
Mhm.
women choosing low hanging fruit and men choosing low hanging fruit, it's still
Mhm.
here. That first 3 are essentially engraved into memory, cell memory. And so
Cell memory, right? Cell
yeah,
memory.
it's so sad. But she records their energy on her consciousness in a special way. They leave a powerful imprint. They provide the personality, body type, and attitude for her master feminine faculty to use to complete its model. We could say that she downloads his software and uses this to update her feminine software. She is thereafter designed sexually to fit that type of man. More accurately, she is designed to be a match for the composite of the first 3 men she had sex with. This is a major event that we call her womb imprint. As we stated before, all women have a master feminine faculty, which is charged with her transition from child to adult, and it reaches into her DNA and determines which female attributes to bring online. If you ask school teachers, they will probably confirm that girls start to act differently in about the 4th grade. In many girls, that is when her master feminine faculty starts to wake up. Humans are evolving creatures, and women are constantly reshaping themselves to fit changing times. Once they change, males automatically follow suit in the next generation, and this is one small aspect of evolution. After her cycle starts, each young girl is programmed to seduce and be penetrated by the local alpha male. That is what she wants. However, an examination of our schools and homes today reveals that most boys lack evolution and have many character flaws. Often, the most undesirable teen boys have sexual access to the most teen girls. In most situations today, the womb imprint received by young teen girls is not composed of good energy. The first womb imprint is negative. Thus, the master feminine faculty instills dysfunctional programs into her subconscious. The negative womb imprint presents a serious hindrance to achieving high level orgasm. The womb imprint is primarily subprogram in the auric field of the energy body. Simply removing it without replacing it is complex and difficult. It is easier to replace it. This involves sex with another man and a series of many rituals. There is some preparation prior to the rituals. These are fire elemental rituals to remove certain toxic beliefs from the pain body. This is followed by water elemental rituals to further displace her out of her pain body. Then there are the sexual rituals and the follow up. Removing the womb imprint is a 60-day process that relies heavily on Tantra. Womb imprint removal is a component of the popular cocoon program. This is the cocoon protocol. Cocooning is a month to 6 month isolation program during which the female seeks to remake herself. The cocoon is like hitting the reset button. It should include second puberty, womb imprint removal, and high level orgasm. However, most men who have performed the cocoon on a woman were not able to include all aspects of the regimen. This includes the author. This is often tremendous resistance. The discussion of the cocoon protocol is forthcoming and will include more of the details involved in the removal of one's womb imprint. Removal of the womb imprint is typically complicated by difficulties in the cell body and light body. For this reason, I do not counsel most men to attempt it without help. Some types of imprints attract negative entities. Forced and abusive rape, where the female victim was completely unwilling. Interracial sexual liaisons, where the bloodlines have a history, ancestors. Scenarios involving juju to render one party more amiable to sexual control in either the woman or the man. And there are serious epigenetic issues for the teen girl. In other words, certain trauma and toxic energy going back even 5 or 6 generations or more on the matrilineal side. In short, she was born with this energy. In most of the cases above, and in many other cases, the female will most likely have a negative entity attached to her light body. This is a very dangerous condition, and it requires a very highly skilled shaman to remove it. The entity must be removed before the imprint can be removed. With respect to the cell body, the associated issue is parasites in the pubic area or fibroid tumors. Either toxic vessels serve as a host for the negative imprint memories. These fibroids are much harder to dislocate. If you understand the significance of what we have said above, you could begin to understand why many societies in the past arranged the marriage of young girls. If the first 3 sexual experiences of a young girl are bad ones, it sets her up for a life of misdirected sexual energy. In some indigenous societies, the parents arrange the first sexual encounters of both male and female children to ensure they are positive experiences. Religious beliefs strictly prevent modern parents from assisting their children in this way, but left to their own devices, young teen girls often fall prey to the worst possible outcomes. And I want to pause right there too, because can you imagine um a generation to where your mom is raped and then you come along and the same thing happens to you? So this is being programmed on a cellular level, because we know that our grandmothers carry us in the womb, in their womb. The mom and you are present in your grandmother's womb. So just imagine 3 generations of women being raped. And that becoming programmed into the subconscious, and we still continue to bring life forth. And then I have noticed in my own experiences, when you share this stuff like this with men, some men have the mindset of you should just get past it and move on. If it's cellular and generational, you don't just move past it. It's there. And this too, you have to take into account when you're dealing with the Amazon woman. And this is my personal experience. I don't know what's going on with anybody else's generations, but I actually talked to my elders and my mom. And so this is in fact a thing. And then the other thing is like having that program there and not ever talking about it. So I didn't speak to my mom about her experience until a few years ago. And it was such a raw pain that when she was telling it, she broke down crying. I felt her pain. It's just like, this is something she's never even discussed with anyone. And me being the first ears and having to hold that space, and then we got into these books, and so it's just like we're not just dealing with average trauma, but generational trauma. And so these are things that we can't ignore. That's why when you are choosing your partner, it has to be a high level connection. You have to choose your partner that has a lot of empathy and patience. Um, because some healing is going to have to be done on some level. And I truly believe that it can be done through practices, um, whether it be Master Morris's practices or practices and rituals that you develop of your own. Nobody knows you like you. And so for one, if I am with a partner now in this moment, I'm making it or putting it out there, setting the attention. When we're in practice, speak life to me in my ear. It's not just a moaning and groaning moment. Speak life to me. Speak healing into me. All the mumbo jumbo, that's minor. You know what I'm saying? We have to use these opportunities to connect and be a little more intentional. Yes, it might feel good, but when you're speaking life into a woman in those moments, she's open and in a submissive mode. And so more change can happen there versus you just walking around the house talking about you a man and bow down. Like it don't work. It does not work. And so that's deep. And then I just never thought about it just even having a shaman to come in, and I'm the shaman of my family, but I just never thought shaman work on this level. It's like it's not just gonna go away. There will be moments where this stuff still comes up. It comes up for me. I think about my mom's story, and it comes up for her. Like I literally felt her pain, and the story was horrible. And it's just I feel like us society we have lost touch. Let's get back to connection. But what do you think, Mr. Butts? It's deep.
You know, a couple of comments, if I could, yeah. Just a reminder to everybody that you are here. You've joined us today at the Alchemical Changes Book Club. We're reading from The Holy Grail of Orgasm by Master Yao and Morris, and you're seeing that right now evidence that the conversation is deeper than just orgasm, as it were. And if you were here with us on the first week, or if you've had a chance to replay, or you haven't, I highly recommend it to replay some of the previous episodes that we've read through in the book. If you don't have the book, I encourage you to get the book. But you don't have to have it. We're going to read word. We're going to read every word. But that is why there's an importance. I'm going to reiterate this probably time and time again. Being in touch or becoming in touch with all four bodies: your etheric body, your light body, your cell body, and your energy body. The only way to overcome or to alchemize, as our book club name speaks to, alchemical changes, the only way to alchemize a trauma like that is through intentionally building up areas of your light body and your energy body. And the reason why you probably could really feel the rawness of your mom's pain is not just that she was a great storyteller, or it was more to it than just the fact that it was raw for her, but obviously to me, it's obvious to me that your heart chakra was quite open at the time that she was telling the story. Um, for the sad truth that sad truth that we learned in by studies for clinical psychology and in practice years ago, is that there are far more I know why the cage bird sings stories that go on in our community than we want to admit. It is not just the inhabitants of West Virginia that are involved in the violation of our young girls at a very early age, and it's a sad truth
Mm-hmm.
that most girls' sexual experiences, and maybe even and more likely more than the first three experiences, are not choices that she makes.
Mm-hmm.
Research has shown us that more women succumb to some sexual um, act than choose to actually have the sexual act.
Absolutely.
And so you will find that imprinting, and you will find it from generation to generation to generation, because sadly these stories are regurgitating and they're recirculated as truth
Mm-hmm.
in the way that we have dealt with sex and young women. And one of the worst things that can be done, in my opinion, is to not tell the stories early on, to not tell about the traumas early on, for the women to not get some type of counseling in order to avoid the PTSD that can be developed behind it, and have it adversely affect their future relationships, not just their sexual relationships, but their future intimate or romantic relationships can become a bit skewed, and there's just a danger of that exists. So definitely want to talk about that, and just to kind of punch this one more thing home is that when Miss Pitts is talking about the Amazon woman and Master Morris is talking about the Amazon woman, it is not just because you tall, big boned, and strong.
Right.
It is mindset.
Right.
Uh, if I could, and you tell me if you agree, I think this whole from the feminist movement,
Mm-hmm.
this strong, independent woman syndrome is
Mm-hmm.
probably akin to what we're calling Amazon woman in this book.
I don't think so. This was a whole tribe. This is why I say this was a whole tribe. They
Mm-hmm.
were a tribe of warriors, and
Mm-hmm.
so the feminist movement was something started by Caucasian women.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a way to somehow attach us to it, and we felt no.
But I just mean
Absolutely.
in the discussion of how the habits of an Amazon woman. We're not talking about the tribe of Amazon women. Let's the term is misused for
Right,
actually
right. It is.
they shouldn't be, but
Yeah.
because they've adopted it
Mm-hmm.
into our day-to-day vernacular in this
Mm-hmm.
term, I just want to make sure that we're not talking about the actual tribe from Amazonia.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about them, and we're not talking about women that are just physically tall,
Strong
strong,
is all.
and masculine like. We're not talking about the warrior women. We're not. We're talking about a mindset. And again, they're misusing it. They're abusing it, in my opinion. But they're talking about a mindset of women that have adopted masculine traits
Mm-hmm.
and are utilizing them in a manner, even if it's subconsciously and unintentionally, they're utilizing those masculine traits and that aura
Mm-hmm.
to emasculate and oppress men to some degree.
So we'll use air quotes, Amazonia. Not it's just different for me because when you look up here, these were big. I'm talking about there was nothing masculine about them. It's just that they knew how to do martial arts and they had
Take care
training
of
for it.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, the mindset I feel like we were infiltrated and tricked into thinking that we can do what men do. We're just built different. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make you weak. We just have different functions. And so for me, I had to learn that I need to be a little more vulnerable because my emotional response was masculine in nature because I developed
Mm-hmm.
the not caring early on. But in
Mm-hmm.
reality, I want to be treated like a baby. I want to be held. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
heard. I want to be baby. And so I have to
Mm-hmm.
express that sometimes because my persona will come off, I don't need no man, or don't touch me. But on the inside, I yearn to be touched. And so for me, I just have to express vocally, because sometimes you will catch me on a day where I'm like, the word don't beat me down. It's just like, okay. But when I see my person, I want to be embraced. I want to be babied. I want to melt. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying it and acting like everything's okay. I have learned, no, when it ain't okay, say it's not okay, because people can't read your mind either. And so,
and that's important. The very, very, very recent study, and we're talking decades long study that was recently released that revealed that people that said they were fine instead of speaking their truth about their thing, their lifespan was reduced by 15%.
Wow.
And I just, when I heard that, I said, I had to send that to all my clients. I said, see, this is why I say always walk in your truth.
Yes. And if you
even
have a bad day,
if you prefer not to discuss what's going on with you with certain people, absolutely. But do not lie about being okay if you're not okay. It is okay. It is okay to not be okay.
Not be okay. All right.
I've been saying that for years. And when this study came out, I was like, man, that reinforces what I've been saying. From a, I was saying it from a clinical psychology standpoint, but from a physical standpoint, now we know that when you lie about being okay and you're not, you induce so much more stress on yourself that it reduces your lifespan like 15%.
And that's why I practice active listening now. I've become, it's like a superpower now. Usually I used to be so much in my head to when somebody's talking and they'll be like, dang, I forgot my train of thought. I couldn't recall their train of thought, but now I can. So shout out to me. But this takes work. And then in active listening, you also want to give yourself space to share as well, because communication is relating. And so you're not just taking it all in. You use things that you've experienced or walked in to relate to the person. And it's either gonna be, I'm not talking about trauma bonding, let's be clear, because some people trauma bond. I'm not talking about that, but just being in relation with another person. You letting your guard down and being vulnerable and not pretending that everything's okay. I tell Mr. Butts all the time. Sometimes I have to call him just to take it all in mentally, but every day I'm not okay. I went months without being okay, and I'll just isolate, because I feel like that's better than trauma bonding or dumping whatever you're dealing with on people. But it's more healthy when you have people around you that are just as much dedicated to your growth as you are. And that's why building community is big. We're not just sitting around. And my friend Jennifer, she says, don't let me die. When you see me practicing bad habits over and over again, you just not saying nothing. Don't let me die. Say something, okay?
Yeah.
All of that relates. It's all relative. And so
all of it. So the last thing I want to say, I want to point back to what you were talking about, about imprinting. Okay. I'm going to make it very, very important, very, very clear. Your first 3 sexual experiences, ladies, did not have to be over the moon and good for you to avoid having imprints. Good, bad, or ugly, you are going to have some imprinting. It's formulative in those first 3, but it continues. It continues with all of the partners that you have in life. But the first 3 are they go in, they seem to take up a lot more space. And so good. Just remember that. It doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad for the imprinting to take place.
It's there. And that part just takes me to a place of because you can see the repetition over time. It's like still to this day, I have had an attraction to street guys, and it was because of first three. Now, not necessarily still in the streets, but someone with that type of history. Now, of course, they are evolved. These are street guys that have degrees now. Okay. But
loves the Lord.
yes, they have become religious in one way or the other, and I say masterful men. Because I like still to know that if it all go down, you will have your business. That's just me. I need to feel safe and secure. But that comes from imprinting. And when I think back over the repetition and behavior, it just was not all the best. You have to move some of that out. And it's more spiritual than it is anything, So yeah, when that part makes me always go back in my head. I'll probably think about that for the next couple of days. So we're gonna get into the Venus grip technique. Okay, shout out to the tighties out there. And the vaginal reflex map. Now, the vaginal reflex map, reflexology, is a cornerstone of tantric science. The acupuncture meridians inside the cell body form networks. There are 4 distribution junctions or main transfer points across the vast network called reflexology zones. It is at these 4 main junction points that the 12 major acupuncture meridians terminate. These 4 zones are the head, the feet, the palms, and the hand, and the genitals. The genitals are the main reflex station, the governor superior of the entire reflex system. The reflexology zone means a particular area on the body with many special nerve receptors divided into a special matrix or map. This reflexology zone is a patterned grouping of nerve endings that, when stimulated, cause a reflex action to the part of the body that unit represents. Male orgasm and female orgasm are mirror inverts of each other. The genital reflex map includes the female vagina, uterus, cervix, clitoris, anal canal, breast, and male sac, testes, penis, shaft rim, prostate, nipples, and canal. Genital reflexology is fundamental to tantra practice. The male penis and female vagina represent inverse or complementary reflexology devices. Males need to know the details of the reflex map of a woman's vagina and breast. They need to be able to operate it. Some men who are skilled at giving women pleasure have partial knowledge of reflexology. Even if they're unfamiliar with the specific terms, they know that if you employ your penis to press against the yoni wall at a certain point, the woman is awash with pleasure. If you angle the penis in this way, she reacts in a different but still pleasurable way. However, if you stroke in a slow pump to an area in the rear, she may not react as much and may even find it unpleasant. In many cases, men do not know why. The walls inside the yoni are not uniform, and some spots are more sensitive than others. This is because the interior of the yoni is covered in over 80 reflex points. These are tiny mini zones that correspond to all major points on her body or several major functions of her systems. Consult the iris reflex map illustration table number 3 and the yoni scan map illustration table 4. And let me just share that on the screen right quick. We're not going to go in blind. Okay.
Well, while she's pulling that up, let me say, and here's me. This is as good as I can get as far. You talk about different teaching methods. I generally employ the Socratic teaching method because I believe if you see it, say it, write it, and speak it, it becomes more ingrained. So, gentlemen, homework. Hopefully you've got a pen and pencil out. You're taking a few notes. If not, let's get one. Do a little research on vaginal mapping. Just take that. That's your takeaway. That's your homework. Vaginal mapping. And if you haven't seen, if you weren't with us for chapter 2, if you're interested in getting a little bit more detail about vaginal mapping as Master Morris described it, chapter 2 is going to tell you where the most likely location of a female G-spot is. Most likely, because all women are different, as Miss Pitts just read. There are actually 80 something points just inside the yoni, and while there is a generalized quote unquote G spot, it does not mean it's the only spot that can bring on a high level orgasm through stimulation of it. Have you found it yet?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
So
she's gonna put these maps up, but on your own, look up vaginal mapping. This is the iris one, a little difficult to see, but oh, there she blew it up. Good.
Okay. So you can't see that.
It is very hard.
Okay. So this is the map. Now, both can be found in the appendix. Imagine the vagina pressed into a flat surface to get a two-dimensional image. The closer to the center of the circle you go, the deeper into the vagina you go. And I'm gonna remove us so y'all can just see this a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Okay. The spots on the outermost rim correspond to the points near the surface or front of the vagina. These maps give the man an interior view or perspective. Just imagine her vagina was made of glass and you could see right through the walls. Each point inside would have tiny little cords going to the part of the body to which that reflex point corresponds. Basically, if she has issues with her lungs from smoking, then that tiny spot on the vaginal wall will be less sensitive than it should be. If she has had a kidney stone, the corresponding kidney spot on the bottom of the vagina floor will be painful and will not generate the pleasure it should. Some of the spots are completely dead until a male wakes them up. There are basically 4 rings. The outer rings being closer to the front and entrance, and the inner rings correspond to locations deep inside the vagina near the cervix. The clitoris is the light switch or activator for the first outer rim, and the G-spot is the light switch activator for the second ring and main ring. Mapping the yoni. Place the woman down on her back with the yoni entrance facing you. Elevate the hips about 3 inches for easy access.
Mm-hmm.
Lift her legs up and rest them out of the way. The best practice for the man to stand. The best practice is for the man to stand. The penis must be rigid for a good exam. Nor can the penis must be rigid for a good exam, nor can the penis be covered for an exam. The woman must open her legs and keep them open throughout the process. And
Lena, you say open her eyes.
Oh. Open her eyes, not her legs, and keep them open throughout the process. Then breathe in deep and the penis will expand. Breathe out deeply and the penis will deflate slightly. Practice this. Only examine on the back stroke coming out. The active zones tend to cluster on the rear face of the cavity walls. Come out extra slowly, maybe 10 to 12 seconds per stroke. The man should not move his feet during the exam. He should maintain a good balance so that he can go all the way in and back out without shifting. Breathe in and hold it for the entire backstroke on the way out. As the penis is rubbing the points on the backstroke, the man should look carefully at the mouth and eyes of the female. That's it. Look nowhere else. Breathe in, breathe out before going in. Go in fast and easy, and do not worry about going in. It is only the backstroke that matters. On each backstroke, pay attention to any movement or posture of her lips. The lips are directly connected to the vagina and will demonstrate if the pleasure is high or low. Look at her eyes. They will change as you pass, giving a report on the condition of the different points. Divide the yoni into 4 sections: the top wall, the right side wall, the floor, and the left side wall. Go all the way in, breathe, press against the top wall, and very slowly come out, mapping the 6 to 8 points along the top wall. Take a second pass for the top wall and note your findings. Move to the right side wall. Make the backstroke pass twice as before, pressing firmly to the right and keep paying attention. Then do the floor and left side wall in the same way. This makes a total of 8 passes with 2 exams per wall. Stop and write down your findings, then return and perform 8 passes again. Revise your notes. You have now mapped her yoni. Okay, hold on. I'm over here doing the movement. Hold on.
What are you doing?
I'm doing the movements. Okay. So we just finished the mapping. Now some vaginas are tight and some penises are thick. In such cases, a slight angle to the shaft will help. If the shaft drags across the clitoris on the backstroke, it can skew the exam. It is best not to tell the woman what you are doing so as to get the most honest reaction possible. If you inform the woman that you are mapping, she will definitely cheat to get a better grade, or totally suppress all reactions. Do not tell the woman, but make a note of every flinch, jerk, moan, brow arch, or mouth curl. You may discover some spots are more arousing than others to her. Those typically report reflex links to healthy body parts. Note any dead spots, which typically link to parts of the body that are in poor health or not active yet. Note any pain response, which usually refers to the location of fibroids protruding into the vaginal cavity. Most importantly, take note of her reaction to the heart zone point on the deep interior of the right side wall. If there is no reaction at this point, her heart is closed to you. It may not be personal. Her heart may be closed to all because her heart is disconnected from her yoni. Your first job is to reconnect it. Let me highlight that right quick. Hold on. That right side wall and her heart being closed to you. That's deep.
Real deep.
Okay, operating the map. The main discussion of this topic is in the following chapter. To operate the map, first turn on the switch for the ring you wish to work on. In the beginning, work on one ring at a time. There are 4 rings. The clitoris is the switch or activator for the first ring on the rim. If you have tantra skills, project a wave of energy behind the clit and move it up directly into the pudendal nerve and see the diagram for instructions. Keep the energy passing into this spot for 4 to 6 minutes. Use the pulse technique if this gives a better response. If your oral skills are good, then suck the clit head in the same manner as a female would suck a penis. And the last option is my favorite, to put the woman into a tub with 2 inches of warm water. Use a dental water pick used for flossing teeth to scrub the clitoris. I can't. Wait. I was not ready. Okay.
Hmm.
So, ladies,
Okay.
get you a water pick. And you
Not
think,
just for teeth anymore, huh?
right, you're scrubbing the penis, not the penis, you're scrubbing the clitoris
Hmm.
using the large bore jet. Turn the machine on and allow a soft warm jet of water to flow over the clit from the top to the bottom. Once she is aroused, go immediately inside to work on that ring. The second and main ring is governed by the G spot. This is where all the good stuff is. Using your longest finger, find her spot and project energy into the roof of the yoni about 1.5 inch in. If this fails, use the rim of the penis head to massage the spot for 5 to 8 minutes, then do the ring work. There is an O spot further in, which is the activator for the third ring. However, typically it is inactive for most women. The heart spot in the very rear of the yoni is the activator for the innermost ring. Again, this is difficult to energize, but you will learn from doing. Once you get the hang of it, you can bypass the activators and go directly to her hot
Mhm.
spot and stroke them. These are referred to as stroke skills. Create a pattern like playing a violin. Start with less
Mhm.
active zones first, and then you're going to stroke for 5 minutes or more, and then pause. Change positions and stroke the next most sensitive spot. After 20 minutes, move to her best spot last and bring her to climax. From time to time, pick a dead spot and focus energy on it. The penis is smart. It will send extra energy to her dead spots if you will it. Talk to her and instruct her to send any negative thoughts or memories to the head of your penis. It works. There is a lot more to operating her reflex map than we have just covered. The minor victory is to awaken her G spot, and this discussion is coming. The major victory is to awaken her heart spot. This is the grand slam touchdown, hit the jackpot move. It is like closing a circuit breaker. The entire yoni comes alive and she will orgasm hard enough to send a quiver through to send a quiver to her ancestors through her ancestors.
Well,
To get this maximum effect, she should not have sex for 5 days prior to this experience. And we will return to this discussion later. Listen, I was not ready.
okay.
Okay, the Venus grip. The
Let's
Venus
talk.
grip is a woman's system of healing and pleasure for the man. The system uses her yoni and basic tantric energy to do this. Results are achieved via her operation of his genital reflex map. She can use her hands or mouth, but primarily she employs her yoni. And in past courses and workshops, the focus has been mainly on the penis head with minor attention to the shaft regions. However, seasoned practitioners will gradually widen the scope to include the full function of the cell body, penis, auric penis, and prostate. The main purpose is to provide elevated levels of sexual pleasure. The base system did not originate with Master Yao. Master Yao upgraded the system in order to assist men in making the shift from unipolar male sexuality to bipolar male sexuality. The women who practice the Venus grip have further revised the systems to focus on healing issues like ED, impotence, and emotional dysfunction. The practice is intended for women with multiple male clients. We found very few women willing to make this level of effort if they only intended to service one man.
Mhm.
There is also an issue with the level of maturity and development of the men. Most men had depressed energy fields to begin with and did not really feel the tantric energy until the second or third session. Nevertheless, the few women who gained some proficiency in this art were very popular. I followed the progress of several such women for a period of time. A large percentage of their clients reported penis enlargement greater than 1 inch after regular sessions. All male clients reported much firmer erections. The words rigid and brick were used, and a significant number of male clients refused to speak to me. Thus, I was unable to attach results to a set pool, but the evidence I was exposed to was very impressive. The men followed the women with cult like devotion.
Okay.
Performing the Venus grip requires a very toned yoni and some basic ability to project tantra
Mhm.
energy. By the age 30, most have lost the tone in their yoni. Thus, most women seeking to perform the Venus grip will need to do some remedial work. The muscles in their vagina are too slack, meaning that one's yoni reflex map is not active enough to project the level of tantra required. And to start, she will need to purchase a yoni egg. Purchase all three sizes, one set with a string and one set without. Rose quartz, jasper, and amethyst are commonly used stones, and special eggs include carnelian, jade, and ruby, non-gem quality. There are hundreds of programs online teaching women how to use them, but one can simply move it back and forth within the vaginal canal and a span of 2 inches for 20 minutes. Spend 20 minutes per day for 3 weeks practicing with a yoni egg to boost her vaginal muscular control. Kegel exercises can also help with toning, and the workshops go into great detail on these exercises. Avoid masturbation with the eggs. When combined with breathing and certain postures, the yoni egg practice can be very arousing. Place the pulse. Place the male on his back on the bed. He can also squat in lotus or sit on the bed with his legs straight out and back supported. Have the male breathe slow and deep, and after performing the ritual bath, dance, or tea ceremony, the woman is ready to begin. She may pour a libation if she intends to use elementals in her work. The act is highly sexual, so a spiritual prelude takes the edge off. Begin by enveloping the head of the penis only slowly into her yoni. She can use pillows, furniture, or any position that is comfortable. Some women find kneeling and straddling the man to be the best. Once she has mounted him, she can insert the pillows to prevent herself from sliding down onto the shaft. She needs to be suspended over him for the first phase of several minutes, and she falls into a trance, almost a mediumistic or meditative state, in order to sense his reflex map. The envelopment process is stylish ceremony. Some women choose to be fancy with it. She may decorate it if she lowers herself several times onto him and then withdraws. Each time she uses a different angle or tension, and all while she is building her temple about his shaft. Finally, she lowers herself completely over him and grips his head firmly. From this point on, he should not talk. She takes control of his penis, and now she recites to him the rules of this pleasure. There are three simple steps to begin. Sense his reflex map, observe his eyelids, mouth, and hands. Project Tantra energy field from her yoni around his penis and begin to pulse so that sexual pleasure flows from his penis to his heart at other points. The mechanics are simple, and yet this experience is not. If the female is a novice, the man may only feel pleasant sensations in his penis, but as she evolves, the sensations can become highly erotic and may seem to happen at many points on his body. Both the lung reflex spot and the heart reflex spot are located on the head of the penis. Once she can move the energy through his reflex map into the heart, it is a brand new ball game. With more practice, she will be able to send her energy anywhere. The intensity keeps growing. To pulse, she contracts her perineum muscle after taking a deep breath and holding it. There are aspects to this that require face to face. She can place her hand on his heart to help sense how strong the flow is. Only after she establishes that she has made a connection does she begin the pumping movements. As soon as she confirms that the reflux is circulating energy to his heart, she pumps him. She can pump him as fast or slow as long as she wishes. She cannot stop and treat him to a penis shaft massage. She can now stop and treat him to a penis shaft massage if she wishes. Next, after a pause, she moves into the next reflex point. She visualizes the energy going there until the man confirms. Now she pumps him again. When she discovers dead spots, she can send energy to heal them. There are many intricate layers to this. She can move from the head and focus on either the mid shaft ring or the base shaft ring. Her yoni can grip either region without gripping the head. Using her hands, she can duplicate the projection, and most start with a plain massage and then duplicate all the techniques above. However, I know of no woman who has been able to produce the same level of sensations with her hand as with her yoni. I enjoyed one session where the member used her hands and I was told to close my eyes and not talk. The feeling became pretty intense and I felt something soft. I cheated and opened my eyes to find she had my penis between her ample breasts. She was projecting from her nipples, and the look on her face was calm and serene. I can feel her moving and shifting positions. And at one point, I felt her breasts on my face and penis at the same time. I peeped again, and her breasts were not touching me at all, and neither were her hands. Her breasts were 3 feet away. I quickly shut my eyes. I knew what she was doing as I had taught her how to do it, but at the moment, I was still confused and partly unconscious. After the session, she informed me that she had only touched me for about 12 minutes in the beginning. After that, it was all projection via the heart. I knew that she was telling the truth because I had peeked many times, but it certainly felt like she had every part of her body stroking me. In theory, a woman can perform the Venus grip with her mouth and lips, but few even attempt it. I can I can count the number on one hand those who have had any success with it. As soon as an attractive woman applies mouth to penis, men immediately default to the idea of fellatio. Case closed. There are women who can naturally project energy from their lips, but they were not members and were not experienced in Tantra. They came by it naturally. Women who study and attempt it can't overcome oral sex conditioning. A receptive and submissive posture is necessary. This is perhaps a key for getting the male to join with his masculine energy and connect to his heart. But on the other hand, it presents a major challenge. Her first step is to achieve envelopment, and her next step is to flow energy. If she is submissive, her energy can build up fast and it can tax the man beyond his normal arousal level. And some men just desire to have sex with her and finish quickly. That is the main issue with the Venus grip. At some point, the Venus grip will become part of the sexual act, but if the man abandons the mission every time he gets aroused, little advancement will be achieved. This requires patience on the part of the woman providing the guidance. That is the end of chapter 8. It got real serious and deep. Okay.
What an ending indeed.
Wow. Yeah. I would advise everybody to go back and listen to chapter 8 again. Go back and listen to all of them. But chapter 8 was so deep, you want to make sure that you process all of the information. The next chapter will be chapter 9, the transition from adult level to high level orgasm. I really have to sit with chapter 8. I'm like, wow, some women come by naturally. He said. So, what do you think, Mr. Butts?
Well, I think I might want to go to tantra school. No.
Right. It's like, wow. This is very deep.
Yeah, very intentional. And I think it's kind of been a running theme today that, in order to be successful, you have to be very intentional and successful. Now, one thing was funny to me when he said, when he was talking about doing the vaginal mapping, a man doing the vaginal mapping, and then stopping and writing down his notes, and then going back for a second pass. And he said something about doing it without her knowing. I'm like, if women, if your man is doing some stuff and he done told you to look at him, and that's another thing I'm gonna say, but and he stops and writes down notes, I think she's gonna know he's doing something.
Right.
Doing something. Now maybe he doesn't specifically say, yeah, I'm mapping your vagina, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And what also came to mind is, okay, I wonder how many men were employing a mapping technique when they tell the woman that they're with to look at me. I've seen that discussion from time to time. Do you like your person to, do you like to look into your person's eyes while you're having sex or not?
Right.
Or you want your woman to watch it? And I'm talking about more than just fellatio.
Right.
Which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, when we see from Master Morris's teaching that the eyes, the mouth, the breathing, the lips can all tell a story while you are attempting to map, even if you were not necessarily, trying to get to a point of high level orgasm achievement and all the months that's going to take to get you there. If you do take the time to look at your person, their lips, their mouth, their eyes, and pay attention to their breathing, you may be able to do some informal mapping even before you get to doing some formalized mapping. But yeah, definitely exciting. Definitely an exciting read as we end our session today. We've gone through chapters 7 and 8. Next week we'll begin with 9, and I dare say it's going to get even deeper because we're going to talk about the transition from adult level to high level orgasm. And if you've been with us from week 1, you know that Master Morris expounds that there are 3 types of orgasms. There's the juvenile, there's the adult, and then there's the high level orgasm, and they progress in intensity and dare say satisfaction as you learn how to navigate into that high level orgasm realm.
Yeah, so next week we'll just do one chapter because chapter 9 is a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot, very detailed, and so we'll just be covering 1. And I'm looking, chapter 10 isn't as long, but 9 is a doozy. And so we might do a review during this week because chapter 9 just seems to be I mean, yeah, chapter 9 just seems to be very detailed. So we just want to review, and I have been highlighting in the book, not a lot, but just some little key points to make sure we're on point before we go into trying to come out of adolescence to HLO. Okay.
Right.
Don't forget to go over to show brother Butts, brother Jamal Butts, some love and some support. I have put his Facebook link in the description box. I also have put in the description box where you can pick up your copy of Master Morris's books. His teachings, his website is in the description box as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Um, we're just trying to build community, and we are taking time out of our lives to help bring about healing on a level so we can bring connection back within our communities. That is the goal, spending time and being a little more vulnerable and intimate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that they're not teaching us coming up and along. And if not now, when, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Mr. Bush, you got anything else you want to share about what you have?
Yeah, of two things. I'm going to say Wednesday. Oh, is that Wednesday? Yeah, I'm looking at it. What do you think about an evening review on Wednesday?
Let's do it.
Think we could go ahead and schedule that now? Like maybe 5 or 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, Wednesday.
Yeah, so during the week, I'm in mommy mode. So that'll be like right after school. And I can attempt, but there's no guarantee that there won't be any disturbances. You know, children, they're hungry, they're just all the things after school. So earlier would be better so I can focus, but if not earlier, later, like after bedtime.
Well, what do you think about later? I want to try to maximize any live participation because I want to do something for somebody that shows up live. How late you want to? What are you thinking? 9?
Yeah, after bedtime. Okay. Push bedtime for 9.
So Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to jump into a 8-chapter review.
Okay.
8-chapter review. I'm going to say it now, but I'll repeat it I'll repeat it once at the top of our review at 9 o'clock. I got another book I'm going to give away to somebody that does not have one. You ready? The phrase is going to be use that Venus grip.
What's the phrase?
Use your Venus grip.
Okay. Shout out to the ladies that have the power of the Venus grip. We know how they can affect the experience.
Get your yoni eggs so you can get your Venus grip going. Or improve it.
Right. Or just you do the Kegel exercises. 20 minutes a day. So what are they doing? They're going to contact you or
during okay, so there's the phrase now for anybody that sees it on replay, but what are we gonna do? A 30-minute or 1 hour review? We probably need an hour for the 8 chapter. We're gonna do an hour. So from the hour of 9 to 10, once we get started, the first 2 people that use your Venus grip in the chat after we have begun our review, I'm going to send you a book. Use your Venus grip is the phrase during our live review on Wednesday between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. hour. You got a chance. 2 people got a chance to get a book.
Okay.
You good?
So yes, I am going to share that on screen for those of us that are visual. And so meet us here at 9 p.m. on Wednesday for the book review. And those of you, he said the first 2 people, that uses the term use your Venus grip will be able to get a copy of the book. People that don't have the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So shout out to Brother Butts for trying to get this book in the hands of everybody. Like I say, these books have been great. I've read, this is my 3rd one. Awakening the Master Feminine and Awakening the Master Masculine. Very powerful pieces. I went all the way to Atlanta to recover my masculine book that I had lent out to my homeboy. May he rest in peace. But he couldn't get through the book. And I offered for him to just follow along with the playlist because we got through it. But if you're not a reader, you might never get through it. But the book was recovered, it's safe and sound, and ready to be passed down to my son. I feel like these books aren't just for you. We don't still practice rites of passage in our communities. And so these books can help you formulate some type of rites of passage for your seeds so that they can go into a sexual activity in a healed state versus just winging it. Okay. You don't want to wing it. That's not it. And so we will be back here again at 9 p.m. on Wednesday for the book review. We are 8 chapters in. The next chapter is chapter 9. We want to just review to make sure we're retaining the information. Those of you who are participating, thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And we will see you all then.
See you Wednesday.
Peace.
Use your Venus grip.